When you're a mother, you never really stop worrying about your child, even when they're almost grown up. My name's Laura Mitchell, and I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio with my 13-year-old son, Ethan. He's a kind-hearted boy, a bit shy but always eager to help others. His best friend, Ryan Carter, is practically a part of our family. The story begins one Friday evening in early summer. The air was warm, and the sound of kids playing basketball echoed through our neighborhood. Ethan had been begging me all week to let Ryan come for a sleepover. I agreed, as long as they promised not to stay up all night playing video games. When Ryan arrived, his cheerful smile immediately lit up the room. He was polite, the kind of kid who always said, "Thank you," and, "Ma'am." His mother, Susan, thanked me for letting him stay over. She worked long hours as a nurse, and I could tell she appreciated a little break knowing her son was somewhere safe. That night, after dinner, I watched the boys in the living room building a blanket fort like they were little again. Their laughter filled the house, and for a moment, I was reminded of how fast time flies. It felt good to have that warm, family energy around again. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, I peeked into the living room. The boys were watching an old superhero movie, eyes barely open. I smiled and whispered, "All right, heroes, bedtime." They groaned playfully but followed the rules. As I turned off the lights, Ryan thanked me again and said, "Mrs. Mitchell, your spaghetti is way better than cafeteria food." I laughed, glad to know I still have fans. The next morning, I woke up early and decided to make pancakes. The sound of sizzling batter soon lured both boys into the kitchen. Ethan was half awake, hair sticking up like he'd fought a bear in his sleep, while Ryan was surprisingly chipper. "Can I help?" Ryan asked. I handed him a spatula, and soon enough, he was flipping pancakes like a pro. Breakfast was filled with chatter about school projects, favorite teachers, and summer plans. I loved listening to them. It was a reminder that even in a busy adult life, simple moments like these could bring joy. Later that day, Ethan and Ryan wanted to ride their bikes to the nearby park. I hesitated. I'm a bit of a worrier, but they promised to wear helmets and check in every hour. As they left, I stood at the porch, watching them pedal away, laughing freely under the blue sky. A couple of hours later, I got a call from Ethan. "Mom, Ryan fell off his bike," he said, panic in his voice. My heart stopped. I rushed to the park as fast as I could. When I arrived, Ryan was sitting on the grass, his knee scraped but trying to act tough. "It's not that bad, Mrs. Mitchell," he said with a forced grin. I knelt beside him, cleaning the scrape with tissues from my purse. "You're braver than most grown-ups, Ryan," I said gently. He laughed, and Ethan looked relieved. It wasn't serious, just a little scare. When we got home, I cleaned the wound properly, gave him an ice pack, and made him rest on the couch. He watched cartoons while Ethan played a video game beside him. It reminded me of when Ethan was younger and would fake being sick just to stay home with me. That evening, Susan came to pick Ryan up. She thanked me again, saying, "You've always been so kind to Ryan. He talks about Ethan like they're brothers." I smiled and replied, "He's always welcome here." Before leaving, Ryan turned to me and said, "Thanks for taking care of me, Mrs. Mitchell. You're like my second mom." Those words hit me deeply. I hadn't realized how much a little care could mean to someone. After they left, I sat quietly, thinking about how love isn't just something between family by blood, it's something you share through kindness, through small acts that make someone feel safe and valued. Over the next few months, Ryan visited more often, not just for sleepovers but to help Ethan with projects or even to bake cookies together. Sometimes, when Susan had late shifts, Ryan stayed with us until she got home. I made sure he always had dinner, homework help, and a space that felt like his own. One afternoon, I found an old photo album while cleaning. I showed it to the boys, pictures of Ethan as a toddler, covered in spaghetti sauce, and of me holding him in my arms. They laughed so hard that I ended up joining in. "You were a cute baby, Ethan," Ryan teased. "Yeah, but Mom says I was a handful." By the end of summer, both boys had grown more confident, responsible, and kind. On the last night before school started, they sat on the porch, talking about their goals for the year. I listened from the kitchen window, heart full of pride. "Thanks for everything, Mrs. Mitchell," Ryan said as he left that evening. "I wish every home felt like this." That night, as I tucked Ethan into bed, I realized how much this friendship had done for both of them, and for me. It reminded me that a little love and hospitality can create ripples that last far beyond a single weekend. Sometimes, life's most heartwarming stories don't happen in grand gestures but in the quiet moments, a shared meal, a scraped knee, or a simple, thank you, from a child who felt seen and cared for. And that, to me, was more rewarding than anything else in the world.